Hey, I'm Morgan. Check out my website, FinePoints.biz. Today I wanted to do 3 days in the life of a bookkeeper, and I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more concise so you can see even more tasks that I do as a bookkeeper. So in each of the 3 days, you're going to see me write my 3-item to-do list and then get some stuff done. If you like this kind of video, make sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe for a bookkeeping video every week. You can also check the description box of this video, which is right below it, in order to get some more helpful bookkeeper resources. Here is my desk setup this morning. Pro tip, I have this little heating pad here on my seat, and it makes it like a really nice heated seat. Makes me want to sit there every day. I got these cute little top 3 stickers, so I'm just starting to use those. And then this cute little elephant I got from when I filmed at QuickBooks. It was a prop that they had left over that they let me have. So check out that QuickBooks series if you haven't already. It's on their channel. Alright, so for this first task, you know that I am just dealing with the chart of accounts. I just wanted to clean up the chart of accounts a little bit. And what happened with this client is that we used to track all of their wages with an account in QuickBooks, so they had everyone's name. But now we moved to a payroll company, so we do not need to do that because it just enters QuickBooks with a journal entry, so it's like one bigger thing and everyone's name is not in there. And it just got confusing because I also tracked their income. So when I started, when I would start to type in Joe for his income, both of those accounts would come up. So his payroll one and then also his income account. And so it just created more headache for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go through and delete all of those old accounts from the chart of accounts that I do not want. And again, I am using the sample company for this video, so I don't show my clients' information. And I do have a video all about the chart of accounts and how I deal with it and what it is and that type of thing. So this is what the thumbnail looks like. It'll be in the corner and I'll link it in the description box as well. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is input these checks. So these, I got check stubs from my local client. You could also do this digitally through, I think HubDoc or other secure portals where you can share information. So I have the check stubs. So the reason that I want to put them into QuickBooks first is so that when they come through on the bank feeds, I know what they're for, because when a check comes through on the bank feeds, you don't always have as much information. And the other reason is so that you know what checks are outstanding, because of course you don't want to be writing a bunch of checks and then not have enough money in your bank account. So what I do is I get the check stubs about once a month, and then I put them all into QuickBooks, and I make sure I do that before I go into bank feeds and do all the categorizing. All right, and then to put in a check, you just go to new and then check, and then you choose, all the information, the payee's name. So it's this person, make sure the bank account's right, the date. The check number should automatically be correct if you've been putting in checks. You can always change it if not, but it should follow the sequence. And again, I'm using the sample company, so it's gonna be, just random things, but see, design income, and then the amount. And I don't track customers. So then you save and close. And then when that comes through in the bank feeds, in this fictional example, you would have a match. So that check number 71 would match to, the same dollar amount that was in here, and you just hit match. So QuickBooks knows it's already in there, and then all of that information is saved. All right, and then the last thing that I have to do is just categorize all of the income and expenses. And this, again, is kind of the bread and butter of what a bookkeeper does. So, and it's pretty enjoyable to me. QuickBooks learns as you go. So it learns what vendors go to which categories, which is helpful. And it's not perfect, so that's why it is helpful to have a real person in there who helps, make sure everything is going smoothly, as well as sometimes there's always those one-off new vendors or things that maybe could go one way or another. Like if you shop at Best Buy, you could be buying office furniture, you could be buying gifts for staff, you could be buying office supplies, you could be maybe buying snacks. So sometimes you do need to differentiate between those things. But overall, I usually like categorizing income and expenses pretty well. It's pretty satisfying actually. And when you complete this whole list, then you can pull really nice organized reports from this data that you're inputting. So as you saw, my first task for today is doing payroll for a client. And I always recommend as a bookkeeper, my clients have an outside payroll company that they use. I don't do manual payroll in QuickBooks, and I'm not really able to screen record that for you guys, but this is a common task that you can do as a bookkeeper. So, and one kind of unique thing about this client, I talked about it in another day in the life. I'll leave the playlist of all my day in the lives linked down below. One thing unique about this is that they track each person's, how much money they made, so that the income that each person made. So I do that every month on the 20th. So I take the income in QuickBooks and I break it down into each person. So every deposit might have different people. And then I put it into and then I do a little bit of more calculating, and then I put it into our payroll system. So that is all of the salary employees, and then the hourly employees have time tracking. So they are logging their hours every day, and then their manager approves that. So that's pretty easy for me as a bookkeeper, because I just go in and the hours of the employees are already improved, and I click the sync button, and then it syncs it into my payroll. And then I kind of just double check like the vacation time and a couple other things like that. But that part is pretty easy. And after payroll is run, it connects with my QuickBooks. So it makes a journal entry in QuickBooks with all the detailed information, which is really helpful also. Hey Marissa, how's it going? Yeah, no, I'm happy to do it for sure. Hey, so you guys saw I just had that call. It was like kind of with a friend / acquaintance. So I was trying to just help them out with their QuickBooks. And that is one thing as a bookkeeper, you'll find you have a skill that business owners need and they want. So sometimes you'll have friends or other people coming to you for help and advice. Usually if it's a pretty good friend, I'll just do it out of the goodness of my heart. But you can also definitely charge for that. But just to be real with you guys, that call was actually like really stressing me out, because I was trying to help and teach someone like how to use QuickBooks, but it kind of became apparent to me that there was a lot of like messy things within the books, and the person I was teaching didn't know anything really about QuickBooks. So it was like teaching her how to clean up a mess, which as you can imagine is like nearly impossible. So I need to circle back with the person who actually was entering all that stuff in QuickBooks, because I think they're going to have more knowledge. But I just want to encourage you guys, if you feel like stressed or like don't know what to do when you're talking with clients, that is totally fine and totally normal. I still feel like that now. And I think it's hard because you want to come kind of as an authority figure to the person you're helping out, but you don't always know like the ins and outs of their business and how the books got messed up in the first place. So something that helps me is just having the confidence to be like, okay, I'm going to have these takeaways from the call. I don't need to have to know all the answers. And then I do have the confidence that when I sit down and look through someone's books, I'm going to be able to figure it out. It could take me a really long time sometimes, depending on the situation and the clarity, but I do have that like confidence within myself that offline I'm going to be able to figure out the problem. All right, and the last thing you're going to see me do here is pay bills. So what I do for this client is I get their actual paper bills. Sometimes they'll email me like the invoices if they get them through email. And then I use their online bank's bill pay. I tried bill.com and I didn't love it. Let me know in the comments if you have a different system for paying bills that you like, because I love to check it out. Hey, so every Friday I have this networking call, Accountants Law Lab, with Linda Artisani and Sarah. So I'm gonna link their group in the description box. It's all about it's for people who want to be attorneys for lawyers. So I'm really trying to build up that niche and learn more about that. So that was number 1 on my list today. And then number 2, I'm gonna send reports to my personal accountant. So both my husband and I own our own businesses. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so both my husband and I own our own businesses. So our income has varied a lot since last year. So I need to send, basically I just need to send him updated profit and losses and see if we need to change our quarterly tax payments. So I do have another video. The thumbnail looks just like this. If you want to get all my thoughts about quarterly tax payments and how that kind of works. So I'm going to go into QuickBooks and pull those reports. So I need to open each of our company files and then send them off to the accountant. The last thing on my list today is to send the Ask My Accountant to my client. So I know it's weird that I call it Ask My Accountant, but that is the account that comes in QuickBooks automatically. So anything I have questions about, I just throw in that account as I'm categorizing bank feeds. And then every month, I'll send that to my client and say, what were these items? I didn't understand, like either I don't know what you bought on Amazon for this, or I've never seen this vendor before. I Googled it, but I still can't figure out what you bought this for. Or did you make a bank transfer? Like usually there's about like 3 to 5 things, if I'm keeping up on it, that I send to my client each month. And often with a new client, sometimes it's more, and then hopefully as time goes on, you may only even need to do this quarterly, depending on, how you work with your client and how unpredictable their stuff is. So how I would do this is I just go to the chart of accounts, go to the Ask My Accountant account, and then pull a report with the correct date range. Really, you shouldn't need a date range, because you hopefully won't have old stuff in there, because hopefully you'll be clearing it out every month or regularly.